Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Interior, National Coordination of National Government, Dr. Fred Matiang'i, representatives of the PS, Mr. Wilson Jega, fellow board members, and I would ask the board members to stand up. Cabinet Secretary, these are the board members who are hosting the function. I don't know whether I can quickly say your name. It's not my card. All right. Thank you very much, board members. Distinguished guests, representatives of NGOs, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a great pleasure for us to be able to host this function to launch the NGOs Week of 2022 and the annual sector report of 2020-2021. This is the fourth NGO sector report that presents the state of the NGO sector. And I wish to begin by thanking our chief guest, our Cabinet Secretary, for finding time out of his very busy schedule, as you will all appreciate, to be with us here today. We are privileged to hold this event physically here at KICC. Last year we had to hold it virtually due to the prevailing COVID-19 situation. Ladies and gentlemen, as the sector regulator, the NGO board is mandated. You mean I was not being heard? Okay. As the sector regulator, the board is mandated to advise the government on the contribution of NGOs to national development and also to provide policy guidelines for NGOs to align their programs and projects to Kenya's national development priorities. It is for this reason that we publish the sector report. Ladies and gentlemen, the report provides a comprehensive statistical information which is critical for national planning. Timely and accurate data, as you are aware, is the backbone of evidence-based policy making. This leads to meaningful reforms and policy improvements, and also facilitates performance-based management. Ladies and gentlemen, this report again confirms the increasing important role NGOs play in national development. In the 2020-2021 financial year, about 2,700 NGOs filed their annual reports and indicated that they had received 138 billion for projects. This was a 13% decrease from the previous year, as we know, because of the challenges of COVID. Had the active organizations, which now number over 9,000, all filed their reports, then I would expect this amount would have been much higher. It is worth noting that 84% of these funds were raised from sources outside Kenya. The board has therefore prioritized programs aimed at encouraging local philanthropy, especially among the corporates, and building the capacity of the sector to run income-generating activities. This requires modern policy and legal framework. NGOs have also demonstrated resilience during this period, which we appreciate. They continue to offer support to vulnerable populations despite the global effects of COVID pandemic, which has affected their funding. They were, of course, also struggling against the various strict regulations around COVID during this period. During this period, as you're aware, we registered more than 200 new NGOs, bringing a cumulative total of NGOs that have been registered since the beginning, when the Act came into force, to 11,890 as of June 30th, 2021. We commend and celebrate the work of NGOs who have continued to partner with government to do a lot of work towards continuing to combat the COVID pandemic And that is why our theme is about resilience during this period. The NGO sector was also able to adopt technology, and many NGOs were able to work from home and still meet their targets and be able to provide for the beneficiaries. During this period, as we have seen from the report, NGOs contributed about 25 billion to the agenda to the Big Four agenda. Therefore, they are quite critical to the operations of government, and we appreciate you for that. Towards COVID, they also contributed more than 300 million in the war against COVID. We therefore do sincerely appreciate the work being done by NGOs. There is always a concern that the government maybe is not very comfortable with NGOs, but I can assure you from my interactions with government, from the highest level, including the Cabinet Secretary, the government is very much behind NGOs' work in Kenya. There will always be hitches, and when they are there, as was earlier mentioned, we are willing to look at what the hitches are and resolve them, so that we continue to work as partners in this important endeavor. There also emerged concerns about being able to spend more money on development in line with government's commitment for a 70 to 30 ratio between recurrent expenditure and development expenditure. I think from the report it was emerging that the average in NGOs is 58% to recurrent, to development. So we would want you to try and raise this to a higher level so that there are more people benefiting from your work. I don't want to say more on this, just want to encourage you as you continue your very useful work to know that we are with you, and anything that we can do to make your environment better, we shall do that. Of course, you know we've been working towards the PBO Act implementation, and I'm sure the CS may have a good message for us. So we will continue working with you, and we invite everybody, all Kenyans, to participate in the exhibition that is being launched today. It's going on for a full week, so you have the opportunity to know what NGOs do. Some people only hear the word NGOs, and they think there are some horned animals that do all kinds of nefarious activities. So if you go to the exhibition, you'll be able to see the very useful work that's being done by NGOs. With that, it is indeed my pleasure to invite our Cabinet Secretary,